Cerberus, Kraken, the Gaimon no Mi. These are just a few of the devil fruits that One Piece fans have theorized will be possessed by Luffy's rival, Blackbeard. However, what if I told you that there's another likely contender for Blackbeard's potential Zoan devil fruit, and it connects perfectly with the idea that the next major arc for the crew will be ELBAF. Could Blackbeard obtain the Ino no Mi model Fenrir? Welcome to Wild Anime Theories. Today we have a wonderful One Piece theory by the user GalaxVita. By the way, thanks for all you've been doing for the channel, man. And I have to say, out of all the Blackbeard theories I've heard, this is one of the most comprehensive and original ones. Remember, if you want to see your theory turned into a video on this channel and perhaps even win the monthly grand prize of 100 bucks, make sure to visit our subreddit and post your favorite theory for your favorite series. A little later, we'll be explaining why Blackbeard's third devil fruit may just be the Fenrir fruit. But first, we have a lot of information to establish here. First off, why does Blackbeard need to have 3 devil fruits in the first place? Isn't having the Yami no Mi and the Gura no Mi enough? I mean, having control over the power of darkness and being able to summon earthquakes does seem to be a little bit overpowered the way it is. Well, if you haven't noticed before, the number 3 seems to be an important motive when it comes to Marshall D. Teach. He has 3 skulls on his pirate flag, he carries 3 pistols, which is odd considering he does only have the standard 2 arms. He uses a 3-clawed weapon, which he used to give Shanks his signature scar. He's often depicted as missing 3 teeth as well, and that's just too many 3s to be coincidental, I think. One 3 that you might not have noticed though is that Blackbeard actually takes inspiration from 3 different real-life pirates. The most obvious connection for Marshall D. Teach is the real-life Blackbeard himself, Edward Teach. Just like Marshall D. Teach, the real-life Blackbeard was an enigmatic figure with not much known about his background prior to piracy. He often also used cunning plans and trickery to advance his goals rather than engaging in conflict directly, another commonality with One Piece's Blackbeard. He's also depicted with a beard split into multiple sections, just like Teach post-time skip. The second real-life pirate from whom Blackbeard takes inspiration is Henry Avery. Avery was a quintessential pirate, just as Blackbeard's design closely mirrors the archetypical pirate in media. One big clue that Marshall D. Teach is based on Henry Avery is found in one of the One Piece data books, where it's revealed that Oda's original name for the character was Everything D. Teach. I mean, if we're honest, it was probably a good idea to go with Marshall though. Imagine. The third inspiration for Blackbeard was Christopher Condent. He's the least known of the 3, but he's notably killed one of his own crewmates before leaving his own crew. In addition to that, his Jolly Roger design was adorned with 3 skulls, just like his One Piece counterpart. Blackbeard is surrounded by all these 3s, and yet so far he only has 2 devil fruits. Not only that, but there are also 3 types of devil fruits. Currently, he wields arguably the most powerful Logia fruit, if it is indeed a Logia fruit, and the most powerful Paramecia fruit. And so to really round things off and make this major antagonist even more of a threat, many fans expect Oda to reveal that Blackbeard also will have a powerful Zoan type fruit. But before we talk about what Zoan fruit he should have, we should talk about why Blackbeard can have multiple fruits anyways. Many suggest that he already has his Zoan fruit. The most popular theories are that he has a Cerberus fruit, and because he has 3 heads, he can have 3 devil fruits. Another popular theory lately is that he wields a Kraken fruit and that he has 3 hearts that can bear multiple fruits again. Though it's hard to say whether hearts or heads are actually the key to wielding a devil fruit. That would raise a lot of questions about objects that eat devil fruits as well. The sword that became Fang Freed, for instance, definitely didn't have a heart or brain before it was fed, I guess, the devil fruit. However, today's theory suggests that it's not that he has 3 hearts or 3 heads. Blackbeard actually has 3 souls. Now, granted, most swords don't have souls either. We don't know by what means Dr. Vegapunk is actually able to feed objects devil fruits yet. However, we've seen swords like Enma seem to exhibit some type of will, so maybe a sword with a soul isn't just all that far-fetched. We know from Luffy's and Blackbeard's meeting in Jaya that there is something strange about him. Luffy and Zoro pick up on the fact that Blackbeard isn't a single singular entity, referring to him as them. We also know that the doctor of Whitebeard's crew, Marco the Phoenix, commented on Blackbeard's unusual body during the Summit War. Surely, Marco picked up on some irregularity with Blackbeard as well, but you'd think a medical doctor would be able to immediately notice someone with 3 hearts or 3 heads. And so it might be much harder to detect that Blackbeard's strangeness comes from 3 different souls in his body. One of the things that Marco could have noticed, which has been noted by many other characters, is that Blackbeard never sleeps. Perhaps he never sleeps because as one soul sleeps, another one inhabits his body, just like we see when Cavendish falls asleep and becomes Hakuba. Now, how did Blackbeard come to possess 3 souls, and whose souls are they? We're unable to know for sure at this point, but one of Blackbeard's other souls is most likely Rox D. Sebek himself. After all, he's likely inherited Rox's will, given that one of his ships was literally named the Saber of Sebek. Perhaps it goes further than that and Sebek literally lives on inside him. This could be another great way for him to act as a foil to Luffy, who's inherited the will of Roger and probably Joy Boy. Now, Luffy's will is inherited by choice, but perhaps Blackbeard has had a will imposed on him. The last soul could be from someone who was around during the Ancient Kingdom and the Void Century time, explaining much of his knowledge and his ability to coordinate grand schemes to obtain power. For now though, that's pure speculation, obviously. The bigger question is, how did these 3 souls find their way into Blackbeard's body in the first place? Well, we can't know for sure, of course, but One Piece is full of ways to make this happen. From Law's body swapping to Brook's ability for his soul to travel independently, there's a lot of soul manipulation in the series going on. And that's not even mentioning the biggest, most obvious one, no pun intended, Big Mom, who not only has the Soul fruit, but also literally was part of Rox's pirate crew. The biggest argument against Big Mom being responsible would be that she likely would have mentioned something along those lines by now. But let's not forget that the fact that Big Mom's story has a lot of emphasis on memory loss. For instance, she doesn't remember devouring her caretaker mother Caramel in a tragic dessert-related accident. She loses her memories during her food frenzies. She suffered amnesia during the Wano arc, and one of her children literally has the power to erase memories. And so, honestly, if anyone was liable to stuff a bunch of souls inside a young Marshall D. Teach and then promptly forget about it, let's be honest, it's Big Mom. Okay, now back to what Blackbeard's third devil fruit could possibly be, now that we know that he doesn't necessarily already has it. The Kraken theory does make sense as a quintessential sea monster, and Cerberus does have its charms, playing along with the Blackbeard's rule of 3 thing. However, the mythology of Cerberus as a loyal companion to Hades, guarding the underworld, doesn't seem to have that many parallels with Blackbeard's story beat so far. And so what might make much more sense with the upcoming story arc of ELBAF is the Inu Inu no Mi, the Dog fruit model, Fenrir. ELBAF will almost certainly be the next major story arc of One Piece, and it's heavily theorized that Shanks and Blackbeard, the 2 remaining Yonko after Wano, will play a major role here. Both Shanks and ELBAF have significant ties to Norse mythology. Cerberus is notably not Norse, but Greek. However, Norse mythology has a fierce dog of its own, Fenrir, a powerful wolf and son of Loki. And so with key players like ELBAF's Prince Loki surely to play a role in the story, it would be very fitting to have a Fenrir as well. And honestly, Fenrir would fit with all the themes of One Piece. As we know, Oda likes to craft sympathetic villains with relatable perspectives and motivations. By the end of the series, it's likely we'll come to understand Blackbeard's point of view much better. Fenrir too does not start out evil. Due to his immense power, the gods trick him into imprisonment, and it's only then that he swears vengeance, that he'll devour the god Odin during the cataclysmic Ragnarok. In addition, the Fenrir theory plays into the relationship between Blackbeard and Shanks. As I've talked about in a video quite a while ago, much like the Norse god Tyr, Shanks is missing an arm. Tyr knew much more than any of the other gods the danger that Fenrir posed, but was the only god brave enough to actually approach the wolf. He sacrificed his arm in order for the chance to imprison Fenrir, just as Shanks lost an arm in a sacrificial bout to inspire inspire Luffy. And so if Blackbeard and Fenrir are connected, it would also make sense that Blackbeard gave Shanks his iconic scar. So could it be that Blackbeard will gain his third and final devil fruit on ELBAF? Will it be the Fenrir fruit or another powerful Zoan? Well, we'll just have to wait and see what Oda surprises us with next. Thanks again to Galaxy for putting all this work into it. You can check out the full theory in the description below. Thanks so much, and yeah, subscribe to the channel.